Hello everyone. What follows is one of the most funnest projects I've ever done. It's a Scandinavian company. They're situated in Helsinki, Finland. The only other company I actually know from Helsinki is called Mural DSP. And if you want to do recording of electrical guitars on the computer, they make the best virtual amps, just as a side note. This company has recorded a lot of dimensions in their data. They have recorded everything very well, and they have everything structured very well. So I had to do next to no cleaning and next to no adjusting, just a little bit, and then I could slice it and dice it from many different perspectives and see a lot of stuff. So this one is less about the technical aspect. This project is more about what do we actually put into the monthly report and what do we not put there, and why do we choose it that way.
So one of the main differences that you see to most of the smaller businesses that I've been analyzing is that they have a lot of dimensions here, and they have different various fact tables. Like they have, of course, the fact sales. They also have the sessions where people visited the site. They have impressions of promotional banners on different sites. They have facts about the overhead. This is a bit of a snowflake schema, and it is interesting because there's one school of thought. When I first learned about Power BI, everybody's saying, oh, never have a snowflake schema, never have one, always merge everything into a star schema. But there's a different school of thought, where people say, yeah, snowflake schema can even be better. So you tell me who has the final and absolute wisdom on this question. Then I have a separate measures table, have already written quite a few measures. And to begin with, just throw everything onto the page. Just explore what data is there and what you can find out and which relationships and ratios and calculations may turn out to be relevant and which may turn out to not be so relevant, and then make a decision together with the recipients of the reports, which results do we report and which do we not report. Let's dive right in and see what we have. I didn't bother too much about making things look pretty. They shouldn't look awful either. I mean, you should be able to read whatever you see there. It should be understandable, but I'm not looking to win some arts award. Anyway, we have a revenue timeline with the graph here with the line smooth setting. Okay, so it goes up and down, it goes up and down. You would expect usually with that kind of product to peak in December, but that's not the case every year, interestingly. Probably also has to do with the temperatures over the years in that region, when people suddenly remember, oh, I need a warm pullover. Almost peaks in August and then January. All right. And the amount of sessions, well, you know, in certain years, people had different problems than shopping for pullovers, although in Scandinavia, as we know, it wasn't as bad, particularly in Sweden, things were more relaxed. Which colors were bought the most? I mean, they really like their yellow from this company. They also pretty much like their green, and then the rest, well, white is liked a little better than Plate 2 and black. Okay, and with the sizes, I was quite surprised. I thought Scandinavians were tall. Maybe that's a cliche, but when I was in Stockholm last year, everybody was pretty tall, so I don't know. I was surprised to find that M brought in the most revenue across all models. Then, over the years, revenue, costs of goods sold, margin, sales provision is next to nothing. Margin 2 is just margin 1 minus sales provision, and then profit. And as we can see, the main driver here are the COGS, the costs of goods sold. They go up quite a bit, and then profit goes down quite a bit. Revenue has remained mostly stable. It's every year it's around 6 million. So a little more. Here it's a little less. Almost around 6 million. So that doesn't change too much from year to year. Now see the production costs, the costs of goods sold have gone up a bit. And since they are the main cost factor, with that, of course, the margin 1 has gone down over time. So the tendency, I mean, you know, they COGS go up a bit, then they go down a bit, but in general, the trend line says they're going up, and the trend line for margin 1 says it's going down, logically. Then when you ask people, they have a checkbox on the website, how did you find us? And almost all people make no entry. So almost 90% of people don't tell you where they found you. And where they told it, it's as expected, mostly Google, some other social media and some other stuff. Instagram the least, and which, I mean, other could be all sorts of things. And how people paid. Sure, PayBuddy, most of it. Vita, a lot, and Bankwire is the lowest. Okay, so affiliates, they get some, they drove some revenue, and they command some sales provision. Yeah, but it's really not much. It's really not much that they command. So, all right. The different countries. Well, Sweden, you would expect the most sales because it's, I think, the richest. Yeah, it's the richest in population. And Iceland, of course, you would expect the least. This is a consumer product, pullovers, so you wouldn't expect. You would expect a certain correlation between population and revenue. It's for the cities. Revenue per customer, yeah, I mean, revenue per citizen of the city, it doesn't do much. In Iceland, the sales are even low in relation to the population. But other than that, doesn't tell me too much. Upplands Vasby people seem to buy a lot. Maybe it's particularly cold there. Maybe they're in the shadow of a mountain or something. Here we have timelines about numbers sold. The products are apart in price, but they're not astronomically far apart. So what's interesting is that the numbers sold are pretty much the same over time. They really don't vary much. Only that extreme winter, of course, brings in more revenue because they have a higher sales price. And the target price has been charged over everything, and value added tax has just been adjusted for each country where the customer lives. So the net revenue has remained the same. Okay, and here we can, they all the products go up and down a bit. No, nothing stands out to me, right? Is there anything? Maybe if you put it under the microscope. But so far they all seem to be going up and down. Mostly the same. With the turtleneck having the most movement up and down, it seems. Okay. Then with the ratings, most people just don't rate. I mean, almost 99% don't rate. They don't give you a rating. So they obviously have a pretty good tracking system how they can trace back the rating to the original purchase. Of course, people can only credibly rate after they receive the product. But they can trace it back, obviously. So that I think worked pretty well. And the ratings that were given, I mean, great is it's close to 80%. And pretty good is close to 20%. And the rest really, I mean, mostly people who rate low, if the product is at least decent, most people who rate low usually hate their life. That's mostly the reason for it. Or sometimes the product is really bad. That happens too. Yeah, but with this, or maybe they got one that was pretty bad. They got sort of a Monday pullover or something. Could be. And also not too much in the middle. Yeah, not too much in the middle. All right. The overhead. Most of the overhead is marketing, as you would expect from an online shop. There's not so much that has to be done. They have a few employees, so personnel is the next highest, which is also to be expected from the overhead. Occupancy, so they appear to have a big warehouse. And admin wouldn't, I mean, even in the Scandinavian countries, admin isn't so bad. I wonder if it's, well, I heard Romania can be worse than Germany, although, I mean, yeah, Germany is a lot of bureaucracy, but it might be worse. Yeah, in Germany we have a lot of bureaucracy, but at least they give you instruction manuals how to jump through all the hoops correctly. And in other countries they may have a lot of rules but not explain them to you as well. So that might be a factor too. With the product costs we see for Norwegian winter, we have the strongest tendency of product costs going up. This one has stayed almost the same, and this one has only gone up a little bit. When it comes to the product cost, thankfully, we have, thankfully for me, we have standardized production cost for each year that has been established by someone else. We do not have a distinction between material and labor. This company produces their pullovers actually in Finland, so they're doing it on location. They're not sourcing it out. Yeah, I mean, those of you who have ever calculated production cost know how wonderful it is, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, this is one of the worst punishments. And I think in the leather jacket example, we had monthly production cost, and that was also differentiated. It was distinguished between several material parts of the leather jackets. But here we don't have that. We have just one standardized production cost per product per year. So that's very nice. Thank you very much. The company ships to Norway, Sweden, Finland, and Iceland. I think the climate in most of those can be academically summarized as freaking cold. It's a lot of time of the year, and in this case, the revenue really correlates with the population density of the different regions. Now, when you see here also Denmark, I forgot Denmark. They're also shipping to Denmark. So, but if you put a map of the population density next to this, you see that the revenue very much correlates with the population density, which is to be expected. People in towns where nobody lives, people don't buy many pullovers. And this is not an industrial product. This is a consumer product. In Iceland, I guess the shipping costs are probably pretty high, and nobody lives in Iceland anyway. They have 380,000 people or something? Yeah, so, but also there, when you see where the revenue is concentrated, you put that next to the population density, mostly here in the southwest, and then some here in the middle north up there. They're selling the most. Wild mix, I put the maximum of revenue. Okay, so of course that's the most expensive product that they have. Usually people buy only one pullover per sale. Almost all just buy one. The minimum is the cheapest product. Then you have an average and a median, which of course is the medium of the three products. Then we're examining some information about the banner impressions on the affiliate sites and the sessions where people go they start looking on the website, and their relationship with revenue. So obviously, just a bit under 1% of the sessions lead to a purchase, which is quite good. It's quite impressive. But this is a specialized product, and it's a very high price product in that segment of warm pullovers that only people will go to if they're actually in the market for a warm pullover, I guess. No, it's not like a site where people just browse to pass time. Okay, so you have the total number of sessions. Yeah, just under 1% on average lead to a purchase, which is really not bad. And then you have here the impressions to sessions. So it seems that people with most people who go to the website do, well, not most, but a hefty portion of the people who go to the website do not come through links or banners. It's always more sessions than impressions of banners. So yeah, interesting. Now the impressions themselves. Look over the different months. On the e-auction website, the trend shows that the impressions are going up quite a bit, but the revenue is not going up the same. So the question is, if the impressions had not gone up, would the revenue have gone down? We don't know. Amazonia impressions actually went down quite a bit. Then Photo Checker, the green one, is very, very few impressions anyway, but it's been going up just a tiny little bit. And Lazando has also been going up a bit. Not much, but it has not lifted up the revenue. On this page, I have created a funnel. As usual, if the companies don't tell me any different, for revenue numbers, I use shades of green. For direct costs, I use shades of brighter red, margin shades of blue, overhead shades of darker red, and profit usually something between lighter blue and turquoise. And we can see over all the years we have profit before tax of around 18%. Let's see, okay, 2018 was quite a bit more. Went down in 2019. 2020 went down even further. 21, that's low. 2022 going up again. 23 going up again, so yeah, alright. Then one of the most important points of information for any business is the margin 1 ratio to revenue. Yeah, COGS ratio to revenue. And then margin 1 ratio, which of course are inverse every year. This in some they have to result in 100%. Because margin is the 100% revenue minus the COGS. So, oh yeah, in 20 and 21 they go way down, and then they go up again to over 40%. Oh, that 2018 is pretty high. Okay, yeah, as expected in those years, we do not have a distinction of the production cost between material and labor, so we do not really know which part is which. Thankfully, I don't have to deal with that. But yeah, that would be one of the next questions. My guess would be that the material imports became much more difficult and much more cost intensive during the years of blockades and lockdowns. But I think they're taking the wool from Finland itself and from neighboring countries, because you will find also a lot of sheep who like it warm in that area. If they don't like, I guess they don't like it cold. So yeah, that would have to be examined more closely. We have also analyzed the approximate age of customers. They only enter their birth year, so we don't know whether they're 18 or 19 on that exact day while they're ordering, but it will not make too much of a difference. It's not like YouPorn, where you go on your 18th birthday and then stay on until you're 97. It's whether somebody is 23 or 24 will not make too much of a difference in ordering pullovers. And we see from year to year it doesn't change that much. Yeah, this is something I would look at maybe every year or maybe every quarter. Certainly not every month, but it is interesting to see that the majority of people ordering are in their 20s. That would explain maybe the preference for colors that are more associated with young people. Of course, when you try out all these different angles, you check out all these different relationships and all these different dynamics, you wonder which are the things in this particular business that have a big impact versus a small impact, so you know what to concentrate on. Also, you should always consider to not make things too complicated for the top brass. So the so-called top management sometimes likes simplified summaries. And now comes the time where we discuss suggestions as to what should be in the regular reports and what should not be in them. So there are suggestions made, and then it's voted on what do we include and what not, and we give reasons why we will include that and why we'll not include that. So obviously revenue, direct cost, and margin is mandatory. It's an absolute standard. And of course amounts, revenue, margin by size. So you know what kind of sizes people like the most, so you can adjust production, manage production. Amounts by colors, of course, so that might change over time. I think yellow has been customers' favorite color from this company for the most part. So that's, but it might change, suddenly people get a taste for black. Who knows? And then you can better manage the production of colors. Revenue by affiliates, manage relationship with affiliates, that makes sense. Reporting top customers. This is something that might come to your mind as a standard reporting content, but almost everyone buys only once and buys only one product, so top customers really don't make sense in this case. Sales provisions by affiliates, of course, while they're not very high in total, you may want to know how much you spend on who. Then overhead in absolute, ratio to revenue, that should be a standard. Payment methods, so you know where to direct your attention in managing the payment processes. That makes sense. Monitor ratings. Get values year to date, also absolute standard. Comparison to previous period, absolute standard. Yeah, min, max, average, median, pulse of revenue. We only have 3 products and they're not that far apart in price. There is a difference, but it's not super high. So yeah, not a big thing. Revenue by citizen of city or country. Well, no significant differences. Of course, in Iceland, not too many people order the pullovers anyway. So, not really an important point. What might be interesting is the ratio of customers who do not leave a rating. See, maybe we can entice them successfully to communicate more to see whether the small statistical slice that we do have is actually representative of the whole. Because that might not be so. Therefore, improve customer communication is a good thing. Also, the ratio of customers who do not reveal where did they find us, why did they first hear about us. It would be also interesting to see if we are on the right track with the small slice that we do have. Revenue to number of sessions. Explore if ratio changes, if fewer people buy. Now we have about 1 in 105, 110 who buy, so that's not bad. Yeah, projected tax on profit, so it's a 26% tax on business profit in Finland, and then dividends another 30%. Yeah, and then top products, it doesn't make sense because we have 3 products only anyway. Banner impressions should be reported to monitor visibility. The ratio impressions to revenue, it appears to be non-related. Maybe once a year you can look into that, but in the regular report I would not put that. But ratio impressions to sessions, so how many people see the banners and how many of them actually go to the website. Of course, many people will also come to the website not through the banners. But if the ratio changes, you may want to find out the reasons. As it happens, while you work on something, sometimes the requirements change. We have changed a few things. We have thrown out a little bit. Projected tax on profit and dividends. Since we are in Western Europe, about half your money is gone, no matter how you twist and turn it. So that is known. And then overhead ratio to revenue. I think it's pretty much the same over all years. So reporting that every month is not necessary. But of course, we keep the multi-year graphs and reports available for reference, so people can look at them. And from time to time, I may be tasked with an ad hoc analysis to see if things have changed in that regard. We ended up putting the monthly report in 4 different pages. This is the general monthly overview. You get revenue for the month. In one position, you get the margin, the profit, the amount sold, and then you have all sorts of details like the revenue, COGS, and margin 1 for the 3 pullovers. Then values year to date in a table, and some very detailed information comparison to last year, and comparison to previous year, and then a few ratios like profit ratio in extra visuals. And of course you can use the cross-highlighting feature. I have not changed that, and then we can click from month to month. The time slicer is synchronized between all the pages. The second page is about affiliates and payment for the current month. About 2/3 of the revenue is generated without affiliates, and about 1/3 through affiliates. They charge a little bit of sales provision. And then we have the count of the payment methods. So how much was which payment method used, and they charge a little bit of payment provision, but that amounts to not much for each month. The third page is about the information that buyers have volunteered. And so they rate voluntarily, and they maybe some of them tell the company how they found the products. It has become quite a bit more efficient, so fewer and fewer people have not revealed how they found the company. Be interesting how they actually pulled that off, because in previous years most people did not reveal how they found the company, and most people do not rate. Most people do not leave a rating, but when they do, they are for the most part great, and quite a few pretty good, and very few pretty bad. Yeah, I mean, as they say, most people who leave 1-star reviews are people who just hate their life. Doesn't have much to do with the product. Yeah, and sometimes it does have to do with the product. I mean, some of the stuff is not so great, but here this company has been quite lucky. Last page reports about impressions and sessions. So, how many impressions have there been through which platform with the banner? And that is, I think it hasn't changed much over the years, just a little bit. For a while, Amazonia, I think, was at the top, and then it got overtaken by eAuction. Yeah, I also have a ribbon chart here at the bottom right, which is not affected by the time slicer. So you can see the development in the timeline. What is interesting is that we have way more sessions than impressions. That would mean that a lot of people either find the website not through affiliate marketing, not through banners, or they come back. So what I do sometimes, I find something through a banner, I look at the website, and then I come back several times before I decide to buy something. So that might have happened, or they are just found through searches. Or because I don't think we have repeat buyers. We don't have many repeat buyers here. So people will probably either be found, they will find it through recommendation from other people, or just through searches. And also, how many sessions do we have with sale? These pullovers are expensive products, so a lot more people will just look at them and enjoy the looks and not buy. Or they will come back many, many times before they buy. That is probably the dynamic that's working here. And of course, I talk to the recipients of the reports and introduce to them what I have designed. I suggest this to them, and then they either say, yeah, we would like that, or no, we won't like that, or we want this and that changed and would like that instead. This is usually how it goes. So there might be a few changes to this, but I think as a first draft, this is not entirely horrible. I think this is quite good. You tell me in the comments what you think. As usual, have fun, Godspeed, good luck, and see you next time.